Okay, so what if I told you there was a countdown clock for the entire AI industry? Like a literal timer, ticking away to the exact moment the whole AI boom just goes bust. It's a wild idea, right? Let's dive in.
I mean, it's a pretty wild question, isn't it? Just imagine one single website, a kind of digital oracle, claiming it can predict the fate of this massive, multi-trillion-dollar industry. Sounds like something out of science fiction.
And yeah, this is exactly what you'd see. A clock, just counting down, second by second. You can almost feel that tension, right? As those numbers get closer and closer to zero. It feels so urgent. It feels real. But of course, it makes you wonder,
Is this for real? Like, has someone actually cracked the code to predicting when a bubble's gonna burst? Is there an AI out there so powerful it can see its own end coming? Well, the answer? It's a little more interesting than just a yes or a no.
And there you have it, the big reveal. Nope, this countdown clock isn't actually a real prediction. It's satire. And that's the key, right? The whole point isn't about forecasting the future. It's about making a really sharp statement about what's happening right now.
so really you should think of this whole thing as a thought experiment. It uses a real AI, Gemini in this case, to go out and analyze actual news from the web. And then based on that news, it calculates a potential end date for the AI bubble. So while the prediction itself is a joke, the process behind it, well, that tells a very, very real story.
All right, so how in the world does an AI even go about predicting its own end, even if it's just for a thought experiment? Well, the mechanics behind it are actually pretty straightforward, but they're also kind of brilliant.
It's basically this simple three-step loop that just runs every single night. First, a script fires up and tells the AI to put on its financial analyst hat. Then that AI just scours the internet, reading everything it can find about the industry, the good, the bad, the hype, the criticism, the whole shebang. And then finally, based on what it read that day, it adjusts its own little doomsday clock.
Okay, so we get it. It's a satirical experiment, and now we know how it works. But that leads to the biggest question of all. Why? I mean, what's the point of creating a fake doomsday clock for AI in the first place?
Well, the point really isn't about scaring investors or trying to actually predict the future. What the creators are doing here is pretty clever. They're using this whole setup to basically hold up a mirror to the AI industry and critique a few very specific and kind of troubling things.
So, first up on their list, the massive hype cycle. And you know exactly what this is about. We've all seen those breathless headlines, the promises that AI will solve everything. This project is really tapping into that feeling that if you're not slapping AI onto everything you do, you're somehow getting left behind.
And yeah, that flows right into their next target. This whole trend of jamming AI into everything. I mean, seriously, from our toasters to our toothbrushes, it feels like every single product is getting rebranded as AI-powered. And this project is kind of playfully asking, hey, is any of this actually innovative, or is it just, marketing?
Now, this next critique is a bit more complex, but it's a huge one. They call it the circular investment economy. Just picture this. A huge tech company invests, say, $1 billion into a hot new AI startup. But then that startup immediately turns around and gives most of that money right back to the big tech company to pay for things like cloud computing. It's almost like giving someone money just so they can buy your stuff. And the project is asking, is that a sustainable way to build an industry?
And this is a really important point to make. The creators are not anti-AI, not at all. They actually think the technology itself is incredibly useful. Their target isn't the tool you see, it's the culture that's sprung up around it, that frantic hype, the sometimes shady marketing, and this weird circular money thing we just talked about.
But wait, there's more. Just when you think you've got the whole thing figured out, the project hits you with one last, absolutely perfect twist. It's like the ultimate punchline that just ties the whole message together in this beautiful, ironic bow.
So here it is, the ultimate question, right? After building this whole sharp, satirical commentary on the state of AI, after pointing out all the hype and these weird economic loops, did the creators use the very same technology they're critiquing to build the critique itself?
Oh, you bet they did. The entire project, from that script that runs every night to the AI that analyzes the news, all of it was built using AI. The critique of the machine was literally made by the machine. How's that for a wonderfully self-aware, ironic twist?
And that's really the final question this whole experiment leaves us with. What does it even mean when the sharpest, most clever critique of AI is also a product of AI?
It kind of shows that this technology isn't just the subject of our conversations anymore. It's now a tool so powerful, it can actually lead those conversations, even when it's talking about its own flaws and all the absurdity surrounding it. Now that's a paradox really worth thinking about.